Hi everyone, I'm Daniel, and welcome to a new series on the Quick Learner channel. We'll be doing some gameplay, and I'm especially targeting this run of the Dunwich Legacy to new players and talking about the game as it actually is in the actual gameplay. So we're not going to be theoretically thinking about what interactions might be fun, but is what we're even talking about with strategy and whatnot going to pan out? Especially for new players, I think this is also going to be helpful for showing you what the game looks like. I'm going to walk you through my decisions as well as the round sequence, at least for part of the beginning here, to make sure you're doing everything as the rules are supposed to go. That said, I might make mistakes. Everyone does make a few mistakes, but I'm going to try my best to go slowly enough to make sure we're checking all of the interactions. So we're going to get started by looking at the investigators and talking a little bit about their deck building. We have two investigators that we're playing with. We're going to play two-handed solo. And we've got Zoe and Rex, who are the Guardian and Seeker in the Dunwich Legacy set. Now, they both have very simple deck building. As you can see here, Zoe has 0 to 5 of Guardian cards and 5 other level 0 cards from any other classes. And Rex is exactly the same thing, except for 0 to 5 of Seeker. We're saying that their abilities are pretty simple too. So these are good pairing for new players. Zoe, after you become engaged with an enemy, gain 1 resource. And Rex, his ability is after you succeeded a skill test by 2 or more while investigating, discover 1 clue at your location. I don't necessarily recommend for super new players to play with the taboo list, but I am here just because I'm used to playing Rex and other cards with the taboo list in mind. The designers and the community at large realize rather quickly that Rex's ability, when you do it more than once per round, is really, really strong, especially when you play 3 or 4 player games. So I'm going to play with the taboo list in mind here, where I can only do this once per round. We're also going to play with other cards on the taboo list, particularly Dr. Milan Christopher, who similarly his resource gaining ability is going to be just once per round. I think for both of these cards falling on the taboo list, it matches up with the rest of the card pool. There aren't any other cards that have this sort of unlimited ability to them. Everything is either you exhaust it as a cost or it's just once per round. I think it makes sense that really if these cards have been designed today, they would have the once per round on them. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at their deck building, or the decks I've created for both these investigators. As you can see here, we've got Rex first, and the 5 out of class cards we picked are going to be 2 copies of lockpicks. This is to help get that succeed by 2 on investigations, because you'll be adding your agility to the test. And in case that doesn't happen, we have daring maneuver. If you do succeed, but by less than 2 essentially, you can play this card to get +2 skill value for the test. The level 0 lockpicks come from the Winifred Habermuck deck. I forgot to mention that I'm just playing with the revised core, the 5 Investigator Starter Decks, and the Dunwich Legacy cards, as well as the return 2 sets of the Knighted Zealot and Dunwich Legacy. So playing with a limited card pool here just to make things fairly simple. We'll make the decks a little bit less powerful, but that's okay. I think there's enough really good cards with just those sets in mind. Anyway, losing your lockpicks can be very difficult. We'll try to get as much value as we can. The other 2 cards will be Ward of Protection. Rex has 9 sanity, and we're going to try to make some use of that with Ward of Protection as a way to just cancel some of the really tough treachery cards that might be drawn from the encounter deck. The rest of the cards are fairly simple. We've got some economy cards. Well, we've got Dr. Milan for 1. We've got Burning the Midnight Oil. We've got Preposterous Sketches to draw some more cards. And a whole pile of skills here to help pass tests. deduction, guts, inquiring mind, perception, unexpected courage. Not a lot here to talk about. Hyper-awareness is to help us maybe do better on some of these tests if we have some extra money. Painkillers for healing damage. I don't think we need to heal horror from Rex anyways. Magnifying glass is here for, boosting that intellect number up as far as we can go. That's kind of the point of this deck. And then finally, I've got a plan for dealing with enemies if we indeed have some clues to make that work. But Zoe should be our monster killer here. So we've got a couple of weapons, two of which come from the Winifred deck as well. And we're just looking for consistency in these kinds of decks. Redundancy, so more than one weapon. I have 6 here, including Zoe's Cross, which does damage as well, and Guard Dog, which can do damage, and Beat Cop, which probably at level 0 will not do damage, but could. We have a few events that are going to help out. 1-2 Punch could do 3 damage, and Get Over Here can do 1 damage, but it compresses a few actions. So again, we're looking at a limited card pool. We really just want to be consistent and do our best. The rest of the cards are going to draw some more cards. We've got Horror Healing over here on Zoe as well. Our other 2 off-class cards are Look What I Found, just in a pinch to try to get some clues. Remember, for this kind of card, if you have a shroud of 2 or less, if Zoe fails, then you're good. You can play this because you can't fail by more than 2. I think that's pretty much it for this deck. There's not a whole lot going on. We just want to get some of those assets out early, make sure we have some kind of weapon, and just go to town on wailing on some of these enemies if we can. Zoe has this built-in economy, so even though I do have a lot of expensive assets here, and if we don't draw things like emergency cash or stand together, I think we can still be okay. Okay, that's it for the decks. They might get more interesting as we go along, but our card pool is limited enough that they just need to be good at what they do. That doesn't always match up with what the scenario does, but it's better to be cover the bases that these 2 investigators can and kind of push through otherwise. All right, so we're done looking at the decks. First thing that we do when we start a campaign, of course, is we need to add some random basic weaknesses. And we have an app to help us do that. We're going to do everything using the Arkham Cards app, like you can see here. So we're going to start the campaign, and it should do all of that for us. Okay, I'm also not going to read through any of the campaign text because it would take a long time. It's not that important, and really the reason why is because if you are watching me play this campaign, I hope you've already played it yourself just to get a flavor of what Arkham Horror the card game is like. That way you're not spoiled when certain things come up in the campaign, and really this video is for you to check on, like, hey, how is the game supposed to go? I wasn't sure about interactions. I wasn't sure that we did it right. Here you go. Here's a way to see if it's going more or less like you thought. Again, I might make my own mistakes. We're going to play on standard difficulty, so the Chaos Bag looks like this, and I believe we are that way over here in Tabletop Simulator as well. Yep, I think that looks right. And now we will draw some random basic weaknesses. All right, we're just going to press the buttons. Okay, Rex gets Nihilism, and Zoe gets Chronophobia. So I just limited our weakness pool to the ones in the sets that I said we own. Nihilism for Rex, we'll take a look at in a second, and Chronophobia for Zoe. Okay. Nihilism. After reveal, cancel or ignore an auto-fail token, take 1 damage and 1 horror. Ooh, so this one is one of those weaknesses where you're thinking, I'll just leave it out there. I don't need to use the actions to discard this. I'm not going to draw the auto fail. It's just one of 15 or 16. And then you start drawing them, and then you are very close to dying. Chronophobia, on the other hand, demands that you take care of it right away. At the end of your turn, take 1 direct horror. That's very tough for Zoe, so if this pops up. One thing to note about these sorts of weaknesses is that they are in your threat area and can be interacted with by other investigators. So Rex could spend 2 of his actions to discard this for Zoe. All right, first thing we do before setting up a campaign. Oh, I realized maybe you couldn't see Chronophobia. Hang on. I'll move this back over for you. Or maybe you could see it a little bit, but at the end of your turn, take 1 direct horror. Okay. So let me hide this. First thing you do before setting up a scenario is you do start with your opening hand. So 5 cards, and you resolve your opening mulligan. Okay, we've got Look What I Found, Liquid Courage, Stand Together, a gun, and Get Over Here. Okay, what am I looking for a fighter in their opening hand? I'm looking for some economy and for a weapon. And we do have both of those things, and it would be really nice if we had an ally also. So we're just going to mulligan away everything else. And this is a pretty nice opening hand. Glory will help us draw some more cards and another weapon in case we run out of ammo. Okay, that's looking pretty good here. If I do draw any weaknesses, they do not remain in your hand. They get set aside and get shuffled back in at the end. For Rex, kind of the same deal. We're looking for assets, maybe economy, and certainly Dr. Milan Christopher. We want Dr. Milan in our opening hand. Makes everything else easy. Okay, we've got a couple of skill cards. For protection, way to do damage, hyper awareness. None of these cards are good. None of these are what we want to see in our opening hand. So we're to just do a full mulligan and see what we have on the next 5 cards. Unfortunately, it's kind of like the other one. This is a pretty bad opening hand. Okay, we at least have this perception that can draw us more cards. But this is on par for your Kluver, a very bad opening hand. All right, let's go ahead and set up the rest of the scenario. Okay, we're going to save the weaknesses. Okay, there's a prologue. Basically, Henry Armitage says, hey, 2 other professors are missing. Go try to find them. We're going to start with The House Always Wins, which is scenario 1B. If you, for whatever reason, want to read any of this stuff, the pause button is your friend. All right, we'll make Zoe the lead investigator. Whoops. All right, all these things happen. Tabletop Simulator has already done that for us. It does want us to remember, though, at the start of the scenario, Agenda 1A grants each criminal enemy the aloof keyword, which stops those enemies from automatically engaging you. At some point, those enemies may lose the aloof keyword. Remember that enemies who are no longer aloof will automatically engage investigators at their location as per normal. Let's take a look at what else is out here on the field. We're going to start here at La Bella Luna. So we'll go ahead and move our investigators there. We'll say goodbye to Arkham cards for now. And our agenda over here, indeed, each criminal enemy gains aloof. If we deal damage to a criminal enemy, we don't want to do that. We would immediately advance. The act here says that the objective is to spend 8 clues 4 times 2. And when we have them, we must immediately spend them in advance. However, we also can treat a token when we reveal it from the chaos bag as if it were any other chaos token. If we do, remember that you have cheated. I don't want to cheat. If we really have to, we will. But for Act 1A, I believe this is the only time we can do that. Yeah, let's try not to do that. Okay, this guy, the Clover Club pit boss, he does have aloof for now. His prey is the highest intellect. That will be Rex always. He's a hunter, so even though he's aloof, he will move, even though he will not engage either investigator. And prey only matters if there are 2 equally possible options. If Zoe were, for example, here, this guy's not going to move. Hunter means move towards the nearest investigator. In this case, no movement necessary, even though Rex has a higher intellect. Okay. The other part of his text, after investigator at Clover Club pit boss's location gains any number of clues, he readies, engages that investigator, and makes an immediate attack. Don't do that. All right, so we're going to use that to our advantage. We need to get clues on, for example, this location, make him come here, and then on the next round, we've already cleared off the clues here, we'll go off somewhere else. That's hopefully what the plan will be. Let's see how well we can make that happen. Okay, this is, like I said, kind of bad. We could just draw cards. We might take advantage of putting this down, but I don't think it's worth it right now. I think we're just going to try to investigate and maybe get 2 with Rex's ability. So we're just going to throw out this perception to go 6 to 2. And we're hoping to draw a -2 or better. 0 is better. All right, so we get, this is our first action. We succeeded at a skill test by 2 or more while investigating, so we'll discover a clue. So technically what happens is first we get the clue from Rex's ability, then the end of the skill test triggers, we get a clue, and then draw a card. In the future, I'm just going to take the 2 clues at once. Okay, that's good. I have 2 more actions. Like I said, I don't actually want to move. So I'm going to draw another card. Inquiring Mind, not really what I want. So we'll put down this Hyper Awareness. It might come in handy later. Those are my 3 actions. We're going to go ahead and pass it over to Zoe. So reminder, the round sequence, we skipped the Mythos phase in the first round. We're in the middle of the investigation phase. Each investigator takes a turn, 3 actions. So it's Zoe's turn. We're going to play this stand together. We choose another investigator location. Both you and that investigator gain 2 resources. Pretty good. Now we can plop down one of these guns. So the Mauser lets you only fire once per round unless you succeed by 2. The 45 automatic has no such restriction, but it only has 4 ammo compared to 5. We're actually not going to play either one. We don't want to fight yet. Let's just draw another card to see if we have more options, maybe an ally to play. There you go. We'll go ahead with our 3rd action, play this B cup. 4 resources. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we can play a weapon next time. Okay, we move on to the enemy phase. This guy moves 1 location towards us, still aloof, does not engage us. Now we move on to the upkeep phase. We basically ready everything. Each investigator in investigator order draws 1 card and gains 1 resource. We'll check hand size if we need to. So there's a nice little button here that does all the work for us. And then we can move on to the beginning of the next round. Place 1 Doom on the agenda. That'll be down here. And then in player order, we're going to draw 1 card from the top of the encounter deck. Let's go ahead and shuffle that in counter deck to make sure we did that. Okay, Zoe gets a Twist of Fate. Random token from the Chaos bag. Let's just see what happens. We got a -1. That is not a positive number, so we take 1 damage. We're going to put it on the B cup. Just why not? All right, we've got a criminal. Criminal enemies are aloof. So we're going to park this guy up here. He does not have Hunter, so he's not going to move. Okay. So time for us to march into the Clover Club Lounge and see what we have going on there. Sure. Rex will take his turn, move here. There's no clues here. We can discard an ally asset from our hand and gain 2 clues. That's good, but we don't have any. So that's action 1. Action 2, we're going to keep on moving. Let's go down here to the Clover Club card room. In here, we have the action to spend 2 resources to reveal a random chaos token. Depending on which number is on it or symbol, we will either get nothing, gain 2 clues, or gain 2 clues and 2 resources. We're going to go ahead and do that. This is our way of getting clues. We need 8, and we have 2. So Rex will spend 2, and we get a 0. A 0 is an even number, so we gain 2 clues from the token pool. Excellent. Zoe might do the same thing. Move 1, move 2, and we have the resources to gamble. I'm not so concerned about the weapons quite yet. Let's gamble. A 0. Okay, we are feeling pretty lucky right now. We just need 2 more clues to advance. Okay. We move on to the enemy phase. This guy does have Hunter, so he's going to move the 1 location and park himself right there. Move on to upkeep. All right, Rex has 7 cards in hand. We got this counter here. So we don't need to worry about that quite yet, but we'll think about it. Add 2 to the agenda, 2 of 4. And we draw Cursed Luck. -1 skill value during skill test, but we need to succeed by 1 or more to discard. Little annoying. Another enemy. Now I'm a little bit worried. So this guy's aloof as well. I'm a little bit worried because I think we might need a weapon down. Got this 1-2 punch, but I think Rex is the one who's going to have to do our gambling. So let's go ahead and do that. First action, gamble. -1. It's an odd number. Nothing happens. Try again. Okay, we are feeling a little bit unlucky now. I think we're just going to take a resource. We could additionally move up over here, but I don't think we're going to do that. Okay. So because we have this B cup in play, I'm feeling a little bit optimistic about succeeding by 2. So we're going to take a resource for our first action and then spend all of our money and put the gun down. And we might want to draw a card. Yeah. Okay, we got Zoe's Cross. We may want to play that. Give in some money in a little bit. Okay, this guy moves here, meaning we can no longer gamble. So we'll go to upkeep. At Rex's signature card lets him draw some cards. We actually have a way to draw 4. Not super important at the moment. Okay, another gun. We're now at 3 of 4. It did warn us that at some point these criminal enemies will lose the aloof keyword. Alright, Surge, meaning we'll have to draw another one. No one has had a drink yet, so we'll just discard that and draw another card. Yeah, Swarm of Rats. Okay, we have engaged our first enemy. Zoe's ability gains us a resource. Okay, place 1 doom on each criminal enemy at your location. If no doom was placed by this effect, lose 2 resources. Okay, we put doom here and here on these 2 enemies. I'm not too concerned about that because we have already passed the threshold from which looking at the doom matters. So there's 3 here and 2 here, so there's 5 doom in play, but we do not advance. And when we advance, all the doom in play goes away. All right, so how do we get those last clues? We're going to have to go to the other location because we cannot spend our resources to gamble here. So that's going to be a task for Zoe, or for Rex rather. Rex will spend 1 action to move here. We're going to spend 2 resources to gain 2 clues and draw 2 cards. Remember that you have had a drink. Again, limit once per game. Each investigator could do this, but it'll just be Rex. So 2 cards. And now he's got 10 cards in hand, which is way too many, but we only check hand size at the end of the round. All right, we're going to spend all the clues because it told us we must. We must do that. Okay, put the set-aside Darkened Hall into play. If it is Agenda 1, discard cards on the top of the encounter deck until an criminal enemy is discarded and put that enemy in the Darkened Hall. I'm a little concerned about the number of enemies out here. Okay, so Darkened Hall comes into play here, and then we're going to discard until we get a criminal. There we go. Next thing we need to do is spend these clues in the VIP area. 4 clues. Okay. We're just going to have to be discarding things. So I believe Rex is just going to move back. I wish there was something he could help Zoe with, but I don't think he can. All right, Zoe's turn. This is going to get a little crazy. Okay, we're going to try to fight these rats. We have 5 to 1, but 4 because of cursed luck, and we'd like to succeed by 1 or more. Okay, actually, sure. Let's throw out this unexpected courage. That gets us to 6 to 1. -1 is good. We defeat the rats. We get rid of this. Do I want to play Glory here? I think I need the resources. Maybe I don't need the resources. Okay, we'll play this. So if this is fast, after you defeat an enemy, draw 2 cards. 1, 2. I was hoping to pick up a emergency cash or something. Okay. Action 2 is probably going to be to play Zoe's Cross. And I'm suddenly going to need a lot of money. So I'm going to take a resource. All right, that's it. This guy doesn't move. This guy doesn't move. This guy also doesn't move. Yeah, okay. So we're all set here. So we'll upkeep it. 8 cards over here. We've got way too many cards. Okay, we need to discard 2. I don't think we need another copy of Hyper Awareness. And we probably aren't going to need to draw a lot of cards. I basically have 2 ways to do that. 2 Dr. Milan's also probably not useful. So let's get rid of that. All right, so we put this up to 4, which is the threshold. We got 6 of 4, so we're going to reset. All the doom goes away, and we flip. Okay, shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck, and we just go to Agenda 2A, which is this one. Okay, we no longer have the text that the criminal enemies have aloof, so they're going to engage. This guy is going to engage Rex, because his prey is highest intellect. This guy will have engage Zoe, so he gets a resource. I don't think it's necessary to use Zoe's Cross here. Okay, we still do get encounter cards. Even though we advance the agenda, it does not skip the part that says each investigator draws 1 card. So we'll go ahead and do that. Hunted Down. If there are no unengaged enemies in play, Hunted Down gains Surge. If there are 1 or more unengaged enemies, each of them moves 1 location towards you. Well, this is going to be a little interesting. This guy moves here, and this guy moves probably here. I don't think I get the, I believe I do not get the resource from engaging him. So I am going to use Zoe's Cross here because I feel like there's a lot more damage that needs to be done. So we will exhaust this, spend a resource, and deal 1 damage. All right, that's tough. We're also going to get attacked by this guy. So we'll take 2 damage. Twist of Fate. Random token, please. -2. 1 damage. All right. What's the line here? We've got 3 enemies. Okay, unfortunately I did take the Mauser, which means I kind of just get the 1 shot unless I succeed by 2. The good thing is that 6 to 2 is not so terrible. I might use this 1-2 punch on... Yeah, okay. Okay, we're going to try to overpower this mobster. We're going to use the gun, so we'll spend exhaust and spend an ammo. And we have 4, 5 with the VCOP, 6 with the Mauser, and 8. Okay, -1 is good. So we succeeded by 2 or more. So we will ready the Mauser. This guy is dead because we do 2 damage. We draw a card. Okay. And that was our first action. I think the next best thing is... Do you retaliate? No. Next best thing is probably to try to kill this guy. Rex has some ways of evading, but I think we're going to try the 1-2 punch. Cost me 2 resources. We get +1, so we're at 6 to 3. We're going to do a vicious blow, though. So it's going to put a 7 to 3. All right, that is a -2. So that's going to do 2 damage. And then I may fight the enemy again. If so, I get +2 and deal +1 damage. So again, I got 5, +2 is 7. Excellent. 2 more damage. That's the 4 health that we need. And you go to the victory display. Good job, Zoe. Okay, these go into the discard pile at the end of the skill test. Last action is to try to kill this guy. I don't think I want to waste any more bullets, so we're just going to go 5 to 4. I don't like that really. We could discard this guy. I don't really like that either. You got full hand. Is there anything to commit? Not really. Maybe this. So let's think about that. Up by 1 versus up by 2. So here's our chaos bag. Let's see, this is really a -3. These are -2s because I don't have money to make them zeros. Yeah, we're going to commit this card. So I'm now up by 2. We're just doing a basic punch. -4, did not matter. No retaliate here. Okay, that's a little unfortunate. Question is, do I want to take 2 more damage now or just get rid of this guy? I think we're just going to discard the beat cop and get rid of this guy for good. There's another one out there, so I just don't want to waste any more time. Okay, so those are 3 actions. This beat cop was a free triggered ability. I can do it at the end of my turn. Okay, Rex. Rex now gets to go off and try to get clues. We'd love to put Dr. Milan in play, but may take a couple turns. Okay, move. 3 set aside back hall doorway locations. Move. These are the ones. Put 1 there. 1 down here, and the last one over there. Okay, we'll go to one of them. Let's try here. This is the art gallery. Okay, we're going to burn the midnight oil here, which gives us 2 resources, and I think we'll commit this deduction. So that gives us 5 to 2. -2. 2 clues. All right, move, investigate. That would be Rex's turn. And a victory point is sitting here, so as long as we don't drop any clues here, we get a victory point. That's pretty good. All right, enemy phase. No hunter here, so move on to upkeep. All right, we'll put 1 doom here, 1 of 3. And we draw some more cards. Something in the drinks. Okay, who was it who had a drink? I think it was Rex. Uh-oh. Okay, we got a swarm of rats. We'll take the resource. I don't think we're going to use Zoe's cross here. Just need to conserve resources until I draw an emergency cash or something. All right, Rex moves. We'll put Dr. Milan down later. All right. We got 4-1. Don't mind taking skill tests like that. We will play Glory and draw another couple of cards. Safeguard. Ooh. Could be worth playing. I think we're going to move here for action 2. And probably sit here and gain a resource. All right, we're going to go ahead and upkeep. Another safeguard. It's 9 cards. I'll get rid of one. And we go over here and add one more Doom, 2 of 3. Rousing Suspicions. No criminals here, so I lose 2 resources. That's annoying. And a swarm of rats. Okay. Okay, Zoe's going to engage for action 1. That gets her a resource. And then we're going to punch at 4-1. When we punch the swarm of rats, we're good. And what do we need more? The gun or maybe Safeguard? We're going to play Safeguard. I think that makes sense. And maybe we'll draw an emergency cache. Who knows? Okay, Rex is going to go somewhere. Let's go find some more clues. So we're going to move here. Zoe is going to come with Rex. All right, here is indeed the VIP area. Cannot draw cards or gain resources during the upkeep phase. Okay. Now we can play some assets. Action 2 is play Dr. Milan Christopher for 4. We'll put down this magnifying glass. It is fast, does not require an action. Now we feel a little better about investigating here. We can investigate at 6-3. In fact, let's toss this perception. 8-3. Well, it's our friend the autofail. We do not pass. We do not get to draw any cards. All right. We go to upkeep. We are just going to ready our cards because we cannot draw cards or gain resources. And then we move on. Again, this guy's still stuck back here. We're going to add 1 Doom and advance. All right. Something weird happens. Spawn a random enemy from the set-aside Hideous Abominations encounter set in the Clover Club Lounge. Shuffle the rest of that encounter set aside Striking Fear encounter set in the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck. All right. Also, this goes away. Random Abomination. It is a conglomeration of spheres. All right. All right. We're still going to take encounter cards, and there's some new text here. At the start of the enemy phase, discard each criminal enemy at the same location as an abomination enemy. So the start means before the hunters move. So this guy, he might move, but otherwise he's toast. Okay, I have no resources to lose, so this just whiffs. Twist of Fate. Random token is a -1, take 1 damage. All right. So let's try this again with the trying to get the clues. 6, 9, 9-3. -1 is good. We'll get our clues. We'll get our resource. And then we're going to go ahead and spend them. We do have 4. Okay. We will put the set-aside Dr. Morgan into play in the VIP area. Advance to Act 3A. Okay, we gotta talk to him. Have to parlay. We do a test of 3 willpower. Gotta do that twice. Rex has 2 actions left. Well, we can try. There's no more clues around, so we can commit this and go up 1. We'll go up 1. Nope. Honestly, for my last action, I would rather put these painkillers down, take a horror, and heal a damage. In fact, we'll put that horror on Dr. Milan. Okay. I don't think I paid for that. Maybe I did, but I don't think I did. I have to spend all my clues here. Okay, so that was Rex's turn. We're going to try to talk to this guy. Zoe has 4 willpower, so that's pretty good. We're going to commit this guts to go up 6 to 3. That's good. We'll draw a card. Put a clue here. I don't think I have much else to commit on this one. The Liquid Courage, maybe? Sure, we'll commit the Liquid Courage to go 5 to 3. -1 is good. All right, we take control of him because we have 2 clues on him. I think those just go away. And we just need to run out of here. Need to go resign. So I think Zoe goes. Might have to come back, but I think that's okay. So this guy's pretty good. +1 combat. After you defeat an enemy, exhaust him to draw a card. 4 health soak. That's really good. All right, enemy phase. So this guy goes away. Gets discarded from the effect on the agenda. And this guy has Hunter, so he moves here. Upkeep over here. No resources or cards for Rex. Okay, I got allies, but I cannot play more than 1 ally because Francis Morgan takes up an ally slot. I only have 1 ally slot. 1 of 7. Hunted down. There are no unengaged criminal enemies in play. Well, now there is. Another twist of fate. Skull is 2 horror. No problem. All right. We should be able to get out of here. So Rex moves. Rex moves again. Zoe can use Safeguard to bring this guy with him. And notably, this is not a move action. This is not provoking attacks of opportunity because we did not spend an action to move. And we can resign. I don't think I'm going to, just in case. Actually, no, we both can resign. We're kind of done here. There is 1 more victory point enemy in the deck. I don't know if we want to stick around to try to find it. But this victory point on this location is not really possible to be picked up because when you resign, you drop clues. So if we pick up the 2 clues and then resign, they're back there again, and then no one gets the victory point. I think we just end it. We're going to take our earnings and end it before things get a little bit more complicated. So Rex is going to spend his 3rd action to resign. Zoe can resign as well, and as you can see here at the bottom, if you are engaged with an enemy and do anything other than fight, evade, parlay, or resign, You get an attack opportunity. That won't happen. We just resign and end the scenario. And we advance. Okay, that did not seem too bad. Mostly because we were able to get rid of all the enemies right in the middle of the game, and that was really, really good. We didn't draw any other ones that were problematic. So we go to R2. Let's just see for our own curiosity where that other, be several rounds away. This is one more pretty tough enemy, but rewarded with a victory point. All right, R2. Let's go over to Arkham Cards and see what we have to do. R2. Both investigators are alive. All right. Yada, yada, yada. He is going to join our team. He's going to go to Zoe, of course, because that stat is 1 for Zoe. Victory display. We have 1 here at the back hall doorway, 1 over here, and then the pit boss. So that's 3. All right, we will update the scenario decks, and I think that's it. We're going to go play the next scenario, 1A, right after this. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something, saw how these decks work. Not always going to be this simple. Sometimes you just draw the right chaos tokens and things work out very well. All right. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.